There are some nights in your life you just never forget, you know? And there are some lines, once they're crossed, there's no uncrossing them. I used to roll my eyes at those HOA horror stories people love to pass around online, figured they were the kind of thing that happens to someone else somewhere else, like, I don't know, a made-for-TV movie, but never in real life, not in my world. But the night 3 masked strangers kicked in my back door at 3 a.m., left my house wrecked, and whispered that I'd be safer if I'd just joined the HOA. Yeah, that was the night I found out what it means to be targeted, what it feels like to be pushed, and what happens when you finally decide you're done being scared. That was the night Karen Miller, self-proclaimed Queen of Lakewood Ridge, picked the wrong neighbor to mess with. I'd moved into 327 Willow Run almost on a whim. The house wasn't perfect. God knows the roof had more patches than a scarecrow's jacket. But it was mine, and more importantly, it came with something you hardly ever see around here in Indiana. No HOA. I mean, the whole block was like some last stand against rules. No one checking your lawn length, no fines for garbage cans left out an extra night, nobody peeking at your house to see if your shutters were approved beige. People mostly minded their own business. A nod at the mailbox, a wave if you caught someone mowing after work, that was about it. Freedom, you know what I mean? That's what I thought I was buying. But it only took 2 weeks for trouble to show up. I was fiddling with the world's oldest thermostat one Saturday, still in my beat-up Colts t-shirt, when there came this knock at the door. I opened it to find Karen Miller, helmet hair pearls, and a smile that didn't come within a mile of her eyes. With her were 2 other women, all in matching blue windbreakers that screamed Lakewood Ridge HOA like they'd just marched out of some weird suburban parade. Karen hands me this glossy packet. "Welcome. We're thrilled you're joining our community," she says. And she's already scanning my yard like she's about to write me up. "We're offering you a chance to enroll in our association security amenities, peace of mind, all for just $75 a month. We protect our own here." Now, I was polite, I swear I was. I thanked her, skimmed the packet, handed it back, and told her flat out I wasn't interested. "That was the whole reason I'd bought on this street," I said. "I like to do my own thing." Her mouth twitched, smile still glued on. "You'll want to reconsider," she said. "There have been incidents in areas not under our protection. It's best to be part of something bigger." It sounded like sales talk, but the way she looked at me, like she already knew how the story would end, that stuck with me. Next thing I know, every few days there's another HOA pamphlet in my mailbox, sometimes 2 or 3. Security patrol cars start creeping by, slow enough to make eye contact every single time. Then one Saturday morning, I find a fluorescent pink notice taped to my door. "We strongly encourage you to accept HOA membership for your safety and the community's standards." Signed with a flourish, Karen Miller, President. At first I laughed it off. Maybe she's just bored, I thought. Maybe this is what passes for neighborhood pride around here. But things started getting weird. One night I came home late and found muddy boot prints across my back deck, way too big for any animal. Another night, someone keyed my mailbox and dumped a trash bag in the driveway. Always the same kind of note: "You'd be safer with the HOA," or "Don't be the odd one out, things happen." That's when my nerves started to fray. I tried to tell myself I was overreacting until November, when everything snapped. It was 3:12 in the morning, cold enough to freeze spit. I woke up to glass shattering and this heavy thud like someone just kicked in the back door. At first I thought I was dreaming, but then I heard voices, 3 of them, all men, moving fast and whispering. I scrambled out of bed, hands shaking too much to dial 911. I crept to the door and peeked out, saw 3 shadows wrecking my kitchen, not stealing anything, just breaking stuff. One of them even dumped flour across the floor, kicked a hole in the wall, then stuck a folded note to my fridge with a steak knife. "Next time, call the HOA for help. Nobody else will come." I honestly don't remember calling the cops, but I do remember the look on the officer's face when he saw the mess. "You got any enemies?" he asked. I told him about Karen, about the notes, how the only thing different since I moved in was this relentless HOA campaign. He nodded, wrote it down, but I could tell he thought I was being paranoid. "Could be teenagers," he said. "But I'm sorry, no teenager leaves a note like that or spells safe in flour across your kitchen floor." That night, every little creak sounded like trouble. I almost packed up and left, I really did. But then, well, I got mad. I mean, burning mad. So mad I couldn't sleep. I started saving every single note, every pamphlet, documenting every weird thing that happened. I called my old friend Megan, who's a paralegal in Lafayette. I told her the whole thing, voice shaking. I was so tired and angry. Megan didn't laugh. She said, if you're right, this isn't just harassment. This is racketeering. It's illegal as hell, but you'll need proof. So I bought 2 security cameras, one for the porch, one for the back, started recording everything, kept a notebook by the door, wrote down every car that slowed every time Karen walked her dog and stared at my house. I recorded our conversations. Wouldn't you know it, she showed up again, all neighborly concern. Are you sure you're safe here? She asked, glancing at my busted door. HOA security could make a difference. That's when I looked her dead in the eye and said, why are you so invested in my safety, Karen? Because from where I'm standing, the only thing that's changed since I moved in is you and your little campaign. Her smile slipped just for a second, but she snapped it back tight-lipped, all business. We just want to keep the neighborhood safe. No one likes trouble. I wanted to scream, but instead I nodded and shut the door right in her face. Then I did what Megan told me called a private investigator. Yeah, I felt nuts spending money to tail a suburban grandma, but my gut said I wasn't wrong. 3 weeks later, the PI handed me a thick file, photos, video, receipts. Turns out the 3 men who broke in all had contracts for security patrol with the HOA. 2 were related to a board member. And those notes' handwriting matched Karen's from public records. Best part, a whole thread of emails where Karen told her security guys to remind holdouts of the risks of living outside the HOA. Black and white. That was it. I grabbed the file, the footage, photos of my wrecked kitchen, and walked straight into the county police station. Asked for a supervisor. This time I wasn't backing down. Filed charges for criminal conspiracy, harassment, and solicitation of a break-in. The investigation started quiet, but man, it spread fast. Turns out I wasn't the only one being threatened. Just the only one stubborn enough to say no. One by one, other neighbors came forward. The police brought Karen in for questioning. She tried to spin it, tried to play the victim, but when they showed her the evidence, her jaw just dropped. When they handed her the contracts, her own emails, she stopped talking. The day they arrested Karen, the whole block watched. She got led out in handcuffs, still wearing her pearls, chin up like nothing could touch her. Some folks gasped, a few pretended not to notice. Me, I watched from my window, hands shaking but heart pounding with satisfaction. She thought she could scare me into paying for protection I never wanted. Thought she could run this place like her own little kingdom, thought nobody would stand up to her. She was wrong. After that, the HOA tried to pretend none of it happened, sent out a statement. We are shocked and saddened. This does not reflect our values, but people remembered. Neighbors who never spoke to me before started waving, saying hello. The security cars disappeared. The pink notices vanished. Nobody ever asked me to join again. I fixed my door, patched my walls, and every so often when the wind rattles the windows, I remember that night, the way fear feels when it's fresh, and the way it fades when you finally stand your ground. I learned some bullies wear pearls and carry clipboards. I learned what it means to fight back, even if your voice shakes. And I learned that sometimes the only thing standing between you and people trying to control you is your own decision not to let them in. In the end, I didn't just win my peace, I won my place. And Karen Miller, well, she learned what happens when you pick the wrong neighbor in the wrong town on the wrong night. I hope she thinks about that every time she drives past a house that's just a little too free for her liking. But hey, maybe you've got a different take. Was I right to push back? Or was the HOA just protecting the neighborhood? You tell me, what would you have done? Let's hear it.